This feels like the origins of the First World War. I mean, a huge theatre in which enormous numbers of countries are involved, in which a degree of fanaticism exists too. I mean, how do you read this?
I read it a little bit like that, and politicians talking themselves into the same sort of positions, really. I mean, I'm just convinced of really two things. First of all, that the bombing is not going to shorten this war, and everyone here wants this war to be shortened, and it's not going to do that. It's not just because we don't have the planes. Bombing never did shorten wars. I mean, the Germans tried it in this country. We tried it in Dresden. It's been tried and tried and tried, and all it does is stiffen the sinews and summon up the blood. That's not going to work. The other thing that I'm really convinced of is that if you bomb, I don't care if it's just 7 tornadoes, a proportion of the people that you kill will be innocent civilians. And that's completely clear to me. I was in a school today in the White City, and I was looking into the eyes of these children I was talking to. And there are children like that in Syria who are going to die because we are sending... I know they've got all the gizmos. I know it's going to be unbelievably accurate, but we make mistakes. Did not the Americans make a mistake at a hospital quite recently? It'll happen.
Brian Eno, I mean, how does it strike you personally, looking at this issue?
Well, I see two things. First of all, I think to a man with a hammer, everything is a nail. And we have a hammer that we spend billions of pounds a year on in the form of a defence strategy. And we want to use it. It seems to be the only weapon that we have. But really, we should be looking at something else, which is who funds ISIS? How are they being kept alive? Well, they're being kept alive by a lot of money from Saudi Arabia, from their fellow Wahhabists. Saudi Arabia is our ally and also our biggest military customer. So we don't want to offend them. But surely that should be the first place we start. And the second thing is Turkey. Turkey has open borders, so oil and heroin is coming out, which ISIS makes about £2 million a day on, and fighters and weapons are going in. Well, we have, in our alliance, we have these two capabilities, you know, that we really ought to be dealing with. So I think the airstrikes is stupid if we're not actually turning the tap off.
That is surely true, isn't it? And there is a tap to be turned off.
Yeah, I mean, what we have to do is have a completely comprehensive approach.
Well, what's comprehensive, for example, about Brian raised the question of Saudi Arabia. Now, we equip them with weapons. They also have this very fervent Wahhabi faith, which is being pushed out into the outside world and is part of the ferment in ISIS.
Where it's got us.
Well, it is incredible, is it not, that we have a United Nations and it is not holding the ring in this. There is no sense in which there is a global effort to resolve something which really is now a cancer.
Yeah, and of course the thing I'm worried about is that we're playing right into ISIS's hands. The narrative they want is the heroes, the Islamic heroes against the Western Crusaders. And we're steaming in just like the Crusaders, you know. That's the story they want. That's the picture that they want. That will get them no end of recruits. We'll make their dreams come true if we really get into a war there.
Brian Eno,